Hi ragazzi, ciao guys, welcome back to another video. How you doing? Christmas light behind me. This is the Christmas setup. We got a slice of pizza on the counter, big sign, mug. We are all ready for today's video. In today's video, we're gonna talk about the 10 releases of the year, collaboration, some new concepts, some new trends, 10 releases in a category, trends, and what has been happening in this year in 2024. So I'm very looking forward to it. Let's grab a beverage, grab your Zamo mug, and let's get into it. By the way, if you're new here, welcome to the channel. If you're coming back, it's always a fucking pleasure. We are on our way to 1,000 subscribers. So if you haven't yet, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. It's always a pleasure. By the way, we also have a free Substack that you can join where we discuss articles in length. We talk fashion, we talk recommendation. First link in bio, it's free. Go for it. Otherwise, just join the Spaghetti Army, which is the name of our community. We really appreciate you. Thank you a lot. Cheers. I was thinking back at the year that, it's almost ending up, and I was like, I think it's a good idea to discuss some of the most interesting collaboration releases, new products that are out, just generic categories, of garments that have been shaping the taste, shaping the culture, shaping the design in these last 12 months. I'm gonna talk about 10 of these points, these topics. They're not in any particular order, but they all represent different aspects of the fashion world and fashion zeitgeist. Number one, the reason for this video is the fact that today the new Carhartt Invincible collaboration has just released. Invincible is like the Taiwanese retailer, and they 2 years ago they launched our first collab. It's called Remake, and it's basically all about reimagining classics from Carhartt with like a new take, baggier shapes, more like unisex shapes, different material. And I think it was super interesting. I think this is the most interesting release in terms of reimagining classic. I think that's really important, and especially with performs, with categories, like it's really nice to be able to reimagine what has been done in the past. And I love how they took some classics, for example, like Carhartt Detroit jacket, checkered overshirt, and they were made them fun and interesting and modern. So I think that in this way, Carhartt Invincible really is a point on the map, and we should talk about it more. This year, they reimagined the Carhartt Detroit jacket, with a double face colorway, so reversible, super nice, baggier fit, super nice. They came out with checker shirt with more details, baggy pants which are like deconstructed, and a very nice bag. I actually just went to the store and I just got myself, after trying on a few things, I just got myself the amazing Detroit jacket, which I'm gonna be sharing with you later. Again, super nice and reversible. You can see the green lining. It's very baggy. I actually got the short jacket from a couple of years ago. Carhartt Invincible goes on the map for rethinking classics, and stay relevant, and the meeting of something very big as Carhartt work in progress with something very niche, like could be Invincible from Taiwan. Yes. If we're talking about collaborations, I think that one of the collaborations that shaped the year has been Stone Island per Dior. Stone Island per Dior, I think, wins the prize for like the most unexpected collaboration and also the most high-end. I think that the collaboration itself, taking inspiration from the archive, really speaks on how like Stone Island is headed, where Stone Island is headed. You can really see how everything has been progressing into like super high quality luxury after being purchased by the Moncler group. I think that Stone Island is really headed in that direction. So like the Moncler direction, every jacket over 1,000 euros. But the positive side also, as I saw in this video, in which I was discussing the collection more in detail, is the fact that higher budget hopefully means also more research, more attention to detail, and different experience. So I don't hate this evolution of Stone Island. I think that was kind of unavoidable if the brand wanted to stay relevant. But I think that Stone Island per Dior really speaks about 2024, speaks about high-end, speaks about communication in between brands, and is something that's gonna stay in the books. Of course, it's unattainable for almost everyone. I personally, I think I've never seen a piece in the wild, but I think it's interesting to talk about like the status of like high-end and luxury, and how some brands are transitioning into high-end and luxury, like for example Stone Island with their Dior collab, and they're rethinking about classic models with a silk badge, for example. Yeah. Then, if we're talking, for example, instead about rethinking a classic and the shoe of the year, we probably have to talk about the Adidas per Wales Bonner. Those have really been rocking the world. I think it's really speaking volume of like the good work that Adidas has been doing since the departure of Kanye. Adidas has been working very hard, both in their sportswear department, coming out with a lot of like running shoes that are have been breaking records, but also they've been focusing with their originals, which is like their classics, old school, timeless line. an iconic shoe with the chunky sole. They were good, again, to collaborate with Bonner, and like the overall, like, you know, heritage, second, third generation London part of the brand. So kudos to them for coming out. That has been the shoe of the year. There is a tendency towards reissuing garments, having fun with texture, having fun with shapes. Shoe of the year 2024, absolutely, as an evolution of the Special, and the Gazelle goes to Adidas per Will Bonner. And I think it's also a matter of, you know, keeping the hype. So kudos to Adidas for being able to capitalize that and not getting lost in losing easy. That's in the list for sure, yeah. If we were talking about details and about like how pattern, decor has been relevant, I think that is really nice to see, for example, this collab of ASICS, which has been like shaking the world. It's really nice. They use, you know, floral over pattern and painting and everything works with ASICS, and is also going to be working with North Face. This collaboration has been announced in Paris in September. I'm super looking forward to it. So reimagining the classic duffel bag, reimagining the classic sportswear, more universal sportswear like North Face jacket, you know, not too expensive, with decor, with details, I think is one of the trends that we've seen coming up the most. So reimagining a classic with more shine to it, you know, more details and more everything. So this for sure goes into the list as like an interesting take on a classic. If we're talking instead like where's the culture act in terms, for example, of menswear that's meeting like trendy TV shows and meeting like, you know, classic of a higher end, I would absolutely talk about NN07 and their iconic jacket. That iconic jacket who has been featured in The Bear. The Bear has been like one of the most trending TV shows, especially for the choice of garments. So Carmen Berzado, the actor played by Jeremy Allen White, is always speaking about, you know, is always showing his obsession and his care for clothes for life, also in his fashion. We see him, for example, the beautiful Barbour jacket, like this NN07, and I think this represents a little bit the bridge. There has been the obsession there has been for determining garments who have been coming out. Let's think also, for example, about the Merce t-shirts from like this German brand who people have also been crazy about. So if you're talking about pop culture and what pop culture means in terms of like, yeah, the age of streaming platform, I would say that NN07 and The Bear, you know, were kind of like at the center, at the top, at the epitome of this connection. This has been true also with a lot of other TV shows, but I think it's interesting to see how brands like NN07 are really capitalizing on the success with a product that personally I do not like, but I think it's in the books, you know, and it's in the summary of the year. Then, if we're talking culture, I really would like everyone to go check Sabukaru out. Sabukaru out is a beautiful magazine based in Japan. It's free of charge, and they do is like a digital magazine, and they work on culture, they work on media, they work on fashion, they work on sustainability. Beautiful platform, and I've been following them so hard, and this year they really have been showing. They've done interviews with Acronym, Neighborhood, with Kitano, for example, the Japanese director. So go check them out. They really represent my year in terms of underrated culture, and you know how it's really important to read about things, to discover brands, to discover, for example, this list of beautiful brands. Luca Hammers, for example, beautiful London-based brand, or UMTC Studios. Overall, I'm just saying here at the middle of this list, I think that 2024 has been the year of research. So go look yourself, look back to like some sources of inspiration of culture, not just Instagram. Then, if we're talking instead about general fashion, you know, test makers which are like a bit more democratic, a bit more lower priced, I would say Uniqlo U has confirmed itself as, you know, like a continuous source of inspiration. Rumors are that Christophe Lemaire, the creative director of Uniqlo U, is leaving. So I'm really curious what this is going to mean for the future. But this year for me has been also Uniqlo U driven. Let's think about, for example, their knitwear that I've talked about in this video. Let's think about, for example, they're bringing back parachute pants, their silhouette for summer and for winter, the oversized puffer, the destructure coats. I think they really have been pushing. Let's think, for example, about the Uniqlo bag. Uniqlo U, I think it's in the list. It made the list, you know, of the most influential releases and props of the year. Yes. If you're talking, for example, higher accessories, I think there has been a very interesting meeting in between the Y2K obsession for Oakley and oversized futuristic eyewear, and what has been also a trend of 3D printing. Those two brands have met, and you can see collaboration and idea like, for example, Balenciaga eyewear, Gentle Monster, Oakley with Satisfy, and I think this is a very, very interesting direction that fashion is going towards too. Nice to see some silhouettes being imagined and I think that's huge potential. There is huge growth potential. So keep your eyes open, and for sure those trends have dominated, and they're in the list. Let's talk about another couple of angles in which I'm reading 24 from. Number one is the Scandi style. Scandi style stands for like Scandinavian style, and there has been a couple of brands which have really been putting out consistent work, and they've been tastemakers. One is Our Legacy, my personal favorite brand, if you're talking fashion adjacent, and the other one is Acne Studios. What I'm saying with fashion adjacent, I'm talking about brands which are like elevated compared to mainstream brand, but they're not like for people who only go to fashion shows and love just fashion and are that educated. So fashion adjacent is the next step. So you're like, okay, I'm done with Uniqlo, I'm done with Nike, I'm done with North Face. Where do I go from here, right? Fashion adjacent, super cool. Our Legacy, Acne Studio, they have been killing it. They have a bit of a higher price range in between the 500 euros. Digital denim, for example, has been really popular. Or let's think, for example, about the M21 from Acne Studios in faded denims, and there really have been tastemakers in this. By the way, guys, everything I'm talking about, I found some links so that you can go browse them, for example, and see if there's anything you like. They're all in the description, so no need to take notes. Scandi style has been very relevant for the year. Clean looks with the research material, research texture, and that's what I have in my radar seat. And then number 10, I would say, if you're looking about what happened in 2024, I would say leather has been central, and has been central on different levels. Let's think, for example, about what Bottega Veneta has been doing, creating objects, creating books, creating accessories, creating furniture, all based on leather. So I really like that leather is at the center of the conversation. Different price point. I think also Loewe is doing something incredible. My personal favorite piece from the year is this Loewe faded jacket. If you're looking for a cheaper one, also Flaneur, for example, is doing it. I think that leather is back at the center of the conversation. Simple, cut, faded leather. And this has been also my year in a recap in terms of what I like and what's a priority. Guys, the Zamu mug, one of one, original is empty. So let's wrap it up. I talked about 10 points, 10 different takes on the year, what 2024 has meant to me. Please let me know in the comments what 2024 has meant for you. If there's any collab that you saw, any drop, any release, any shoe. I try to keep it as general as possible, but I'm really curious to see what instead you guys think and what has shaped your year. So have a beautiful weekend, stay safe out there, drink plenty of water, and see you on the next one. Love you, bye!